Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into one of the most mind-bending, revolutionary theories in human history, Albert Einstein's general relativity. Now, I know it sounds incredibly intimidating, but we're going to break it all down visually. By the end of this, those complex concepts are going to seem beautifully simple.
We're going on a bit of a journey today, so let's look at the timeline. We're going to bridge the gap from Einstein's early, kind of incomplete ideas in 1905 to a sudden spark of inspiration in 1907, right through the grueling math of 1915, and finally, his ultimate universe-altering proof in 1919.
Here's our roadmap for The Explainer. We'll start with Einstein's unfinished business, step into the accelerating room, look at how space and time warp, prove the impossible correct, and wrap up with gravity's unsolved mysteries.
All right, Section 1, Einstein's unfinished business and the limits of 1905.
You know, when Einstein first published his theory of special relativity, it wasn't exactly getting standing ovations. In fact, he was mostly ignored or totally ridiculed. People just thought his ideas were way too weird. But honestly, Einstein himself was really unsatisfied with it too, because the theory had a fatal flaw. Special relativity only worked for observers moving in perfect, straight lines at constant speeds. But the real universe just doesn't work that way. The real universe involves acceleration, and most importantly, it involves gravity. His whole initial theory essentially fell apart once gravity entered the chat. He desperately needed a way to connect the two.
The breakthrough actually came from a pretty dark but completely genius place. Legend has it, it's 1907, Einstein is sitting in his patent office, and he sees a window washer on a ladder outside, and boom, he has this profound thought experiment. He asks himself, what would happen if the window washer fell? He realized that in those terrifying moments of freefall, the washer wouldn't feel his own weight at all. He would feel perfectly weightless, exactly as if he were just floating out in deep space.
Which brings us to Section 2, the accelerating room, a truly mind-bending thought experiment. Okay, let's step into Einstein's head for a second. Imagine you're standing on a regular old bathroom scale inside a totally windowless room. Now ask yourself, are you completely stationary on Earth, just feeling the downward pull of gravity? Or are you actually inside a spaceship out in deep space, accelerating upwards?
Think about it. If you're chilling on Earth, the scale might read 80 kilograms. But what if that windowless room is actually a rocket accelerating upward at exactly 9.8 meters per second squared? Well, that specific number just so happens to be the exact acceleration of gravity right here on Earth. So if the floor of that spaceship pushes up against your feet at that exact rate, guess what? The scale is still going to read 80 kilograms. Without a window to look out of, you'd have absolutely no way to tell the difference.
And that, right there, is the equivalence principle. Einstein realized that gravity and acceleration aren't just kind of similar, they are fundamentally indistinguishable. They're describing the exact same physical phenomenon. Being pulled by a gravitational field is identical to accelerating.
Now, let's take it a step further. Imagine pointing a laser beam perfectly straight across that accelerating spaceship. As the light zips from one side to the other, the room is constantly accelerating upwards, right? Because the floor is rushing up faster and faster while the light is traveling across, the beam is actually going to hit slightly lower on the opposite wall. So to the person standing inside the room, that perfectly straight beam of light literally appears to curve downward.
Moving on to Section 3, Space and Time Warped. The shortest path.
So, if we follow the equivalence principle, there is zero difference between that accelerating room and a room resting on Earth. Which means, if a light beam curves downward in the spaceship, it absolutely has to curve downward in the presence of gravity too. But hold on, that creates a massive problem for physics. See, light is incredibly lazy. It always takes the absolute shortest path between 2 points. Usually we think of the shortest path as a perfectly straight line. So how on earth can light be taking the shortest path if gravity is forcing it to curve? Well, Einstein deduced something mind-blowing here. If the light is taking the shortest possible path, but that path is visibly curved, then the space it's traveling through must itself be curved.
Einstein knew exactly what this meant, but the math required to prove that three-dimensional space could bend, it was brutal. He actually had to call in a favor from his old college buddy, the brilliant mathematician Marcel Grossmann, to help him crunch the numbers. Together, they mapped out the complex math of general relativity. And this famous quote perfectly sums up what they found. Space-time tells matter how to move. Matter tells space-time how to curve. Mass actually warps the literal 3D fabric of the universe.
And the crazy thing is, it's not just space that warps, it's space-time.
We all know that the speed of light is the universe's speed limit. It has to remain absolutely constant.
But if space is curved by gravity, the light is suddenly forced to travel a longer physical distance. Now, speed equals distance divided by time. If the distance gets longer, but the speed of light has to stay exactly the same, well, the only way the math works out is if time itself slows down. Let that sink in. Time literally passes slower in a strong gravitational field compared to empty space.
Okay, section 4. Proving the impossible correct. Testing the theory.
Because, let's face it, a theory is just a cool story unless you can rigorously test it and prove it. First up, the planet Mercury. It had this weird wobble in its orbit that Isaac Newton's traditional math could never figure out. Einstein plugs in his new curved space-time equations. Boom! It predicted Mercury's exact path perfectly. Then, in 1919, an English astronomer named Arthur Eddington photographed stars during the total solar eclipse. He proved unequivocally that the sun's immense gravity was literally bending the light of the stars behind it, exactly like Einstein predicted.
But honestly, we don't even need to look at distant stars to see this in action. It's grounded in our everyday reality. Clocks on the International Space Station, or on the GPS satellites orbiting our planet right now, literally tick slightly faster than the clocks down here on Earth, simply because they're further away from Earth's gravity well. If engineers didn't program your phone's GPS to mathematically compensate for Einstein's time dilation, your Google Maps would start giving you completely useless locations within just a few hours.
Finally, section 5, gravity's unsolved mysteries. This is where the theory actually breaks down.
Now, general relativity is undeniably one of the greatest scientific achievements of all time. It gave us an incredibly accurate map of the cosmos, but it doesn't answer everything. Einstein's beautiful equations completely hit a brick wall when they encounter a singularity. General relativity predicts that deep inside a black hole, there's a mass crushed down to an infinitely small point, creating infinite density. And in physics, when your equations start throwing out infinities, it's a massive red flag. It usually means your theory is incomplete. The math just completely stops making sense at that unimaginably extreme limit.
See, to understand things that are infinitely small, we usually rely on our other great scientific framework, quantum mechanics. So you've got general relativity perfectly ruling the massive scales, your planets, your stars, gravity, and quantum mechanics perfectly ruling the microscopic scales, atoms, subatomic particles. But right at the singularity of a black hole, where you have a massive amount of gravity squished into a microscopic space, these two incredibly successful theories just totally clash. They are fundamentally incompatible.
Which leaves us with this giant nagging question. General relativity tells us that mass warps space-time, but it still doesn't tell us exactly what gravity fundamentally is at a microscopic level. What is actually happening at the dead center of a black hole? The physicist who figures out how to marry these two frameworks together is going to walk away with the ultimate prize, a working theory of quantum gravity. So who's going to be the one to finally crack the code? And what kind of crazy secrets of the universe will they unlock when they do?